There is too much optimism around AI stocks. And I just wanted to take a moment to really talk about this, guys. The Qs is up around 16%. The Nasdaq is up around 13%. And those are great. Those numbers are great. As investors, my portfolio is doing pretty well. I bought the Qs when they were down 10%, and I took a little bit of profit on the Qs. I'm up, I think, around 25%. And in the time frame of me being down 10% to being up 25% is pretty ridiculous, guys. If you look at the Qs on the monthly chart, it basically looks like that, we fell off of a house, off of the roof, and landed on a trampoline, and we just skyrocket busting through all-time highs. And what's really driving that isn't really like the Max 7, even though Google is doing really good. But I'm going to put Google in the AI stock conversation. Apple is doing very well, but Meta hasn't been doing well. Microsoft still isn't doing well. Amazon is doing well, but Amazon is basically, another one in that AI stock. You look at AMD, man. I came out with a video about AMD, having the potential to hit $1 trillion, and before Nvidia would be able to hit 10 trillion, and it looks like that is coming to fruition, and it's really ridiculous. When I look at it, it's like incredible. When you look at AMD was at $180 a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and now we're looking at AMD, and AMD is about to be a $400 stock, I believe, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And AMU, I bought AMU. I remember I bought AMU at $90 a share, and I sold the majority of it at 140 or 136. And now to see that in MU's a $700 stock is crazy. And MU, I never thought MU would be $1 trillion company, but they're on their way to become $1 trillion company. And if that isn't extreme optimism, isn't that kind of like bubble? I understand that memory is going crazy. I understand that AMU is doing great. But if you have these companies that are almost at $1 trillion market cap, AMU is almost at $1 trillion market cap. I don't never thought I would ever say that. Like, it comes into thinking, like, is AMU even, is this a cyclical business, or is this going to become the norm because of AI? Are these businesses transforming into, this demand will, we're going to continue seeing this demand for years and years to come? Or is this peak demand, and in the next 2 years we're going to be seeing these stock crash tremendously? And as investors, I think we should be taking caution around these areas. Like, I think we should be taking profit, especially, I was thinking about buying MU when it pulled back after its previous earnings, from 400 to the 300s. I was thinking about buying it. And hindsight is, it's crazy, because if I bought it at that 300 pullback, I would have been up over 100%, or I think close to 100% on my investment. And my thing is like, at this, I just want all investors to be cautious of what's going on. It's like, this is not normal. Like, this is not normal. This is not normal. Like, these stocks are just going too crazy, and we need to be careful. We are long-term investors. I don't know if I could believe to see MU is gonna get to 1,000, man. If you look at MU on the monthly chart, it's ridiculous. Look at the monthly chart. Look at the SPY, the Qs on the monthly chart. It's just ridiculous, right? It's too much optimism. Like, now I feel like we're kind of like in a bubble territory, in my opinion. I feel like we're over optimistic on what these companies are. AMD is gonna be $1 trillion company? Is that crazy? That's just crazy to me. AMD, even Oracle, who's like one of the most riskier plays, you see people are just more comfortable now. Oracle from the 130s is at 200. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. And I'm just saying, guys, I've been taking a little bit of profit. I'm taking profit because I just feel like these numbers are too optimistic. We're too optimistic. We're pricing in perfection. Same thing how I believe that I didn't believe I just don't believe that AMD is gonna be I'm sorry, not AMD, Nvidia is gonna get to 10 trillion. I believe that, betting that AMD would get to a trillion was far in my view, but in a couple of weeks, 800, 700 billion, 800 billion. These, so you're telling me, like, if we're thinking about it, you're telling me that AMU has a better business model than Netflix. Oh my, like even Palantir, who we're saying like this is stretch for Palantir. Palantir is roughly around 400, anywhere from 300 to a $500 billion market cap. So we're saying that MU, AMD have a better business model than Palantir. I don't know, man. It's interesting. It's interesting. I would love to hear what you guys think about these numbers. If I was any investor, I'm taking profit. Look at Intel, man. Intel went from $19 to $100. Intel is not Intel shouldn't be okay. I believe in the recovery story, right? But you tell them at a $500 billion market cap, you know, I just can't do it, man. I would I'm not buying any of these stocks. I took advantage of the 10% pullback. I'm buying Meta. I'm buying Microsoft. I feel like they're not super cheap, but I think they're cheap compared to their historical value, and I do think that they're slightly undervalued. You know, it's interesting. This is year's gonna be an interesting year. The Qs is already up around almost 16% from the on the year. Um, we're gonna see like that's crazy. It's like what are we gonna end on the Qs this year? Another 25% gain. You know what economic disruption is going to happen that's going to cause us to have maybe another 5% pullback, 10% pullback. Are we going to see another 10% pullback? I don't know. I'm sitting nicely on some cash, ready to deploy it. But right now, I just cannot find many good deals besides in Microsoft and Meta to keep adding to those positions. And I really don't want to add to those positions too aggressively because I have a pretty good average in Microsoft and Meta. My average in Meta is under $600. It's close to 580, 570. And then my average in Microsoft is around 370. So I really don't want to add too aggressive at these prices because I feel like I got them at better prices. But I'm looking at the market. The market I feel like is just too optimistic. It's pricing in perfection. We have companies that, in my opinion, shouldn't be close to $1 trillion market cap. Like these MU, AMD, Intel. I feel like they're just overvalued in my opinion, right? And like I said, I'm very optimistic on AMD, but not optimistic to the point that I would be buying AMD at 700, $800 billion market cap. I I love MU, but I would not be touching MU because we if you look at the history of MU's always been a cyclical business. That's why they have their capex has been so massive, and their free cash flow hasn't really been. You can't compare their free cash flow to a Nvidia. You can't compare their free cash flow to a Microsoft because they're asset heavy company. But for us to be valuing MU at a trillion is crazy to me. It's crazy, crazy, crazy to me. But that's just my opinion. I think we should be taking profit. I know I'm taking profit. I've been taking profit in these areas, not on all my positions because not all my positions are in take profit position. I'm just in a comfortable position. But I would be taking profit if I had any MU, MD, AMD. I've been taking profit on Google though. I definitely been taking profit on Google because I feel like Google is it's getting a little crazy with Google. But there's a strong debate for Google to be valued or where they're valued at. I did come out with a video about that. I wouldn't be buying Google close to 5 trillion. I bought Google in the low 270s. So, but I would be buying I would be buying Amazon Still, and I've talked about that, I believe Amazon is a $4 trillion company, and they're close to 3 trillion. But I would not be buying Google. I would definitely be buying Amazon. Sorry, I would definitely be buying Amazon because I just feel like they're a juggernaut of a company and they do so many great things. Like $1 trillion in revenue coming in, might be coming in by 2027. So thank you guys for watching the video. Like and subscribe. Definitely give me your thoughts on what you think on this market. If you think I think we're closer to the bubble now, and because these companies, well, we'll see. Maybe we're not in a bubble. Maybe this is just a transformation of these companies, and this might be the trend. Maybe we're gonna see a lot more companies hit $1 trillion market cap like it's nothing. All right, you guys have a great one.